Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you had a good week. I'm Kathy. Welcome to Yarn with Heart on May 31st. Here we are already at the end of May. This year is going by so fast. Today would have been my dear grandmother's birthday, and something I remember so lovingly about her is her crochet. Actually, wanting to carry on that tradition is part of the reason why I started crocheting. If you'd like, I would love to hear what started you on your crochet journey and or your knitting journey. So please do put some of that in the comments below about that, or any comment. I read them all and I love to hear from you. And speaking about comments, I'm sharing an idea about something I was doing before. Someone had, I forgot who, somebody had encouraged this, and I'm going to start doing this again. When YouTube content creators that I'm following haven't done a new video in a while, I'm thinking about popping over to their channel and watching a video that I might have missed, then leaving a little emoji or a quick hello in the comments for them to find as a little unexpected surprise. Anywho, that's one of the things I'm thinking about doing, and I thought I'd share the idea in case anyone else wanted to join in that. So that's something that I'm going to be busy with this week. This week's video is finished objects. One is for the tropical bird crochet along, and the other is for the book cover of the month make along for May. The tropical bird is also a make along. About my prayer shawl, also for the first Friday in June meetup with friends. That's coming up next week. And also updates on the mystery make-alongs that I started last month. For those who are new to the channel, one of those mysteries is a blanket and the other mystery is a shawl. So those are in this video. Also, about an event that focuses on hat patterns for donations, that one will be starting very soon, and I'm getting ready for that. Another event started May 26th, and I'm having a lot of fun with that, and I thought I'd mention about that one, as there's still plenty of time to join if you would like. Now, information about patterns, how to find those events, links to any YouTube videos for the tutorials that I followed, all of that is in the description box below. And next week will be hopefully a completed shawl for the first Friday in June meetup with my friends. Details about the Crochet Along for Cause event, and happy mail. Some yarn gifts. Well, some yarn, a gift, and some stitch markers I purchased from a YouTube friend. So that will be next week. And hopefully a completed mystery make-along item. So if you subscribe and ring the notification bell, you won't miss that next video on June 7th. So let's get right into it. The first finished item. This was the Tropical Bird of the Month make-along. It's by Judy's Creations in Crochet, and I will put a picture of the inspiration here. Look at these colors. Now the yellow is not maybe showing up quite so well as I would hope. This yellow is, well, all of these yarns are Brava Sport. The yellow is Custard. This blue was the cornflower color, and this color was called Seashell. The black was just called Black, and I used a 5mm hook. The poncho was made with, Ophelia talks about crocheting a poncho in a weekend. It's a YouTube tutorial. It was not a difficult one to follow. And what inspired me to try this poncho, I made a child-sized one. The original tutorial was for an adult-sized one, but I used sport weight yarn, so it worked into a beautiful child-sized one that I will donate. And what inspired me to make the poncho was Lynn Ann from Nina's Knots Crochet. She did an adult-sized vacation poncho on her channel, and I thought, oh, what a great idea. And so cute. And it reminded me, I adored the poncho that I had when I was a little girl. And I hope that some little girl equally loves this one when they receive this one from Casting Off the Cold. So that was why I chose that for the Tropical Bird of the Month Make Along. So there we go. Now the next finished item, this one was for the book cover of the month. It was a crochet along with Nona Rosanna. It was, well, it's another, I guess it was a pretty easy one. It's actually called Easy Crochet Cat Stitch Wrap. It was by Bagaday. It was a YouTube tutorial on her channel. And first I'm going to show it really close up so you can see the little cats. See there? And each color is a different row of cats. Again, I will put a couple of pictures here. So this one, it was the finished item for the book cover of the month crochet along, and it took me a little while to decide what item to make. Now, I know somebody who I will gift this to. Her nickname is Cat, so that's going to be kind of good. I used a 5.5 millimeter hook and Brenna Super Value yarn in the color navy and winter white. And this one is the Loops and Threads Impeccable in the color lapis. I looked online and I don't think the lapis color is available anymore. It came from my stash, but they have some similar colors available. I did use Bagaday's pattern for the majority of this wrap, but when it came to the border, I used the Kittens in a Row Washcloth Crochet Pattern. That one was a tutorial online by Sara, Sach Crochet Designs, and that's what I used for the border. So I'll stand up and just put this on so you can see. The lady who I made this for is quite tall, so I did make it as a long wrap. Here we go. So that was my other finished item. The rest that I'm going to be showing this week are all works in progress. So let's see, the first one I'll show. This one will be a shawl for my group that I'm meeting with next week. This has a written pattern, but also I've adjusted what I'm doing a little bit because based on a tutorial. So I've gotten a start. I'm using leftovers from a baby blanket that I made. And I'll hold it closer so you can see the pretty edge that's on this one. There. This is a Brenna pattern by Purple Iguana, a free download on Ravelry. I used a 5 millimeter hook and leftover Bernat Softy baby stripes in the color Finger Paint. And I took my leftover finger paint and I've divided each of the colors up in half in small balls so that the colors are going to, I will have the middle yellow, and then each of these colors I will repeat on the other side of the shawl. I'm just in the center right now, so the center will be a block of yellow. I'd like to do a second one of these if I have time, because I'd like to try it also in a solid and compare them. Yeah. Now, the alternative that I did do is I followed the alternate version tutorial by Fiber Spider. And the reason I wanted to do that is Fiber Spider adjusted the pattern so that this lacy edge was on both sides. So the original pattern had a solid edge across the top, and I thought it was quite pretty to have that laciness on both sides. So that's what I'm working with here. Yeah, so that's one item that's on my whip pile. The next one that's on my whip pile, now that we have air conditioning working in our apartment, I started back on my adventure blanket. And for those who are new to the channel, I've been really enjoying this blanket. It's sort of a mystery where each time they come out with one of the emails, you answer a question, and based on the answer of the question, that's how you determine which of two stitch patterns you use for that stripe in the blanket. And I've been really enjoying the crochet along because everybody's blanket is so different depending on how they answer the question of the day, and all the stitches I've been using are so enjoyable that I actually decided to buy the ebook. And this book is a collection of 25 blanket strips that can be joined in a multitude of ways. And it can use many different yarns, different weights of yarns. For me, this was a very helpful ebook. So the Crochet Along is hosted by Sunflower Cottage Crochet and Ambassador Crochet. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook. And these yarns, let me see if I can remember. This one is, these two are Brava worsted. This one is in the color custard, and this one is in the color, no, let me check. Custard. Clarity. This one's in the color Clarity, and the navy, this blue is called Celestial. The white that I used Lion Brand Pound of Love in the color white. So now I'm just going to finish off with two of the yellow to finish. I'm not doing as many stripes as some people because I wanted a blanket that was 60 inches long and 48 wide. That's the size that donations for casting off the cold for a teen size blanket are required to be. So here's the stitch patterns. There's such nice texture. Let me move my tea. The texture is beautiful. I do really like that. There. And each one sort of works nicely together with the other. I can't say a favorite because I really love them all. And I have two more left to do in the yellow. So, yeah. So thank you to Sunflower Cottage Crochet and Ambassador Crochet. That's been such a fun one. I'm so happy with that. The other mystery that I've been working on, Way leads on to Way. There we go. I'm using Premier Bamboo Fair in the colors Dove and Ivory and a 3.75 millimeter needles. I still am a bit behind. I'm a slower knitter, so I've just completed clue number 3. So there's 2 more clues for me to work on to complete the shawl, and I'm so excited. I love how frequently the stitch pattern changes, and now I'm no longer afraid of working on lacy items. It's not perfect. It isn't. There's some mistakes in there, but really they're small mistakes, and I feel like let's not look too close. That's all I can say. And really, none of those little oopsies will show up at what I call talking distance when I'm wearing it. If someone sees those mistakes, they are standing way too close. So I will say there is a spoil alert. I will not show the picture until the end of the video of where I am. I will show a picture of this while I'm saying goodbye. So that way, for anyone else who might be working on this crochet along, if you'd like to jump in and join, I won't spoil your mystery. So now about events. There are 2 events that one that I've started already and one that I'm looking forward to starting. The first is a scavenger hunt, and it started on the 26th. It's called the Countdown to Summer Scavenger Hunt. It's by Jamie from Remington Lane Crochet. Now, after signing up and joining, there are links that are sent in emails, and you click on the link and you pop over and kind of scroll around and look for a sun, the image of a sun. And when you find that image of a sun, you click on that and see what the surprise is that's there. It could be a download, sometimes it has been, or it could be a link to another piece of content or something else surprising. And for me, it's all really fun. If you'd like to join in, the link is in the description. Information about Jamie's in the description. And another event, this second one, I've been participating in the second one for coming up now will be the 3rd year, and it is starting very soon. It's my secret when it comes to donating hats. Now, it's not a big secret. There's so many people that participate in it, but for me, this event that's run by Hooked On Homemade Happiness, it's where I find a lot of my hats for crochet hats for donation. Now, Brienne, she's a very generous lady, and she shares her hat patterns every week for 10 weeks. And then one can make that hat to donate to your local school or hospital or shelter. And yeah, this will be my 3rd year participating. Brienne is my hat pattern connection for casting off the cold. So getting yarn ready, as summer is when I put my large blankets aside and start making smaller items like hats, and hooks are going to be busy. So looking forward to us getting together again next Friday. Until then, enjoy your knitting and enjoy your crochet. And I hope to see you next week.